On the Air, episode 103.
California. On the Air's on the Air. We have a live studio audience out here. I'm Sully, that's Little Tommy. That's the April Band playing today.
Love it.
Wow.
April.
April, what's the deal? Did you just decide to take the stage? That's good. Well, you're easily the nicest looking thing up there if you look at the... And I see that we got, our beloved Rusty Nail's son, Tyler Stallnack, who now works at Loft 100 Studios. Give him a big clap. He literally is our stage manager.
Yes.
And he makes sure all the audio works and stuff. But Tyler used to do our rejoiner and bumper music for the Big Biz show.
I heard.
Back when he was like 16 years old. He used to skip high school. Nice job.
Well, now he's playing Jingle Bells.
Now, so what's your deal now?
I'm a lead jingler.
Lead jingler.
Lead Jingler. I think we should call you Lee Jingler from now on. Hi, I'm Lee Jingler. Great to see you, buddy. No, that's fantastic. Now, did you have to see the set list before you came out so you could rehearse?
Yeah, tune in, practice for a few hours.
Tune it in? Okay, that's good. Fantastic.
Any song, no matter what.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Any song, no matter what.
Let's just bust something out, bust anything out and see how he does, so he can pick it up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Oh, by the Average White Band.
Yep.
Take me to... Look at it. Key on time. Come on. He's got that Temptations thing going too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
See, like that, just like that. You can't teach that. Lead Jingler for hire.
Any song.
I got a side gig for you. You're going to be hired through... You just show up at people's doors. They drop you $30, $40, and you'll jingle, and then you're off to the next place. Maybe pick up a thing of half and half for them, maybe some Windex on the way, and then you're on the way.
Any song, no matter what, sounds like a Christmas song with Jingle Bells.
Yeah, could you play like Hell's Bells or something like that? And with the... Here we go. We got Led Zeppelin. All right, good. Enough of that nonsense.
It works.
We are very musically inclined today because we have a very special guest, one of my favorite people in the world,
favorite person.
And I have never had the opportunity to meet him like I have this year, but we had such a great time with him on the air. For the first time ever, we are centering a show around, we usually have 6 people out here. Mm-hmm. We have just a few today. So tell us, Tommy, who do we have today?
Well, our very first guest, I'm going to bring him out. He is the original co-founder of Taylor Guitars. Ladies and gentlemen,
the namesake,
Mr. Bob Taylor.
Hey, Merry Christmas. There's a guitar for you. There's a guitar for you. Everybody gets a guitar. Yeah, baby.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. You want me here?
Let's just one of these out.
Let me tell you something.
Merry
These are for breaking
Christmas.
and entering, right?
Yes, they are. But let me tell you something. For the last several decades, Bob Taylor and Taylor Guitars gives guitars for breaking and entering Christmas. And Bob Taylor heard about the family that we're taking care of, and he said, Tommy, I can't do one guitar. He goes, I can't do 2 guitars. I'm going to give you 3 guitars.
Guitars.
So God bless you.
That's so good, Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Guitars. Everyone likes a guitar, right?
Yes. Look at that.
Oh, look at that cutaway with the...
That's fun.
Wow.
Is that your grand auditorium?
At Grand Auditorium,
Grand Auditorium.
214 CE. Usually the baby's there, but that's a fun guitar, and
Wow. The family's going to enjoy those 2 guitars.
I think the family, especially.
The family's going to enjoy these 2 baby Taylors.
No, but thank you. Seriously, thank you. And you always say, you know what? You always say yes to those families. So
I always say yes to the families. I always say yes to you too, Tommy.
Man, but thank you.
I was thinking about you.
Tommy calls and says, "Hey, can I?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, you
know?
always do. First of all, you've been traveling. Are you seeking out exotic woods for?
Well,
the
I went
Taylor
to
Guitar
Panama.
Family?
I
Yeah.
just got back from Panama. That was a 2-week conference. It's kind of like being in a congressional thing, but it's CITES. CITES is the Convention of International Trade of Endangered Species, okay? But
Oh,
it's
very
actually, it's super important because all of the timbers and woods around the world now, especially tropical regions, are being more controlled, and it's kind of political at this stage. And at this one, they had a proposal on there to make to move Pernambuco. Nobody knows what Pernambuco is.
It's a whiskey,
onto a
isn't it?
list.
It's a
It's
drink
the
you get
wood
at
that they
Trader
make
Joe's.
violin bows out of.
No kidding.
And if it had gone through the way it was, every violin bow that had ever been made for the last 300 years would have been basically locked up,
No kidding.
right? And so by going to those things, you can add some spice,
Yeah.
some nuance to the conversation,
Sure.
So I stayed there for a week of the 2. I got home for Thanksgiving,
Good for
and it was.
What does a day in the life look like for Bob Taylor? Like when he's back in San Diego? What are you up in the morning with a guitar in your hand or with a song in your head?
I usually, if I'd have been a great guitar player, I'd have been a guitar player.
Which arguably people say you are.
No, I'm not that good.
Can
at
you
guitar
strum
player.
on it? Can I put you in a awkward situation? And
Yeah, as he hands you the guitar and doesn't even wait for the
Now
answer.
this is Bob Taylor playing a Taylor.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Let's go to drop D.
Wow.
Drop Z.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds better now. Sully guitar pick. Bob Taylor, Painted Taylor.
Wow.
Good pass quality
I
control.
learned that song in 5th grade. It's the one.
That's
Hey,
yours.
Can I keep this
Yeah.
one?
So, being a guitar maker, when you play the guitar, and I see you like looking at it while you're playing the chords, do you hear different from most people? Like, are you listening for a different tone? Like, what do you hear? Like, what do you?
I hear tinnitus right now, and
Right after you
that's kind
play?
of like, it's an A440, so I can tune to it. So
But do you listen for it? Like, wow, there's a buzz here. Okay, wait a minute, there's a.
yeah,
Wait a second, I have a question.
As soon as I play a guitar,
Is everybody's tinnitus a different key? Or is it always the same key? Does anybody? Harvard should spend
about
millions on
1,000 hertz.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
What is that? A
kinda
C?
like-
Is that a Mark would know
It's
that.
it's the frequency that like TH and F and
Yeah.
you
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't.
there you
Next thing you know, you don't understand.
I can hear it now. Thanks. Appreciate it, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Now I've got
Yeah.
tinnitus.
Exactly.
When you play that guitar, it makes me think of the first time you made your first guitar. And when the first time, you got done sanding it, you got done doing everything with it, but now you got strings on it, and now you're going to play. What did you play the very first time you picked up your own guitar and started to play? Do you remember?
No.
Smoke on the Water? It's got to be. Everybody plays Smoke on the Water.
No, when I was a high school student in the early 70s, and people were listening to rock and roll, and I was listening to John Denver,
Yeah,
Gordon
right.
Lightfoot,
Sure.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
You're a
listening-
rocker.
Right.
I was listening to folk music.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
And so
Guitar Man, maybe?
could have been.
Yeah, right.
Brad?
Yeah, Brad. David Gates.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't want to even admit that I know that. That's a long
David
time ago.
Gates
music.
lives in Rancho Santa Fe.
Does he really?
That was
he
good
does.
music.
Does he live with Aubrey? Do you remember? You got to be a million years old to understand that.
Yes, I do.
We will have edited
You know
that
what's
out.
funny is that there's like bands that you're not supposed to like, but I like.
Air Supply. Right? Do you know the best concert I ever went to? Ever?
Where?
Barry Manilow.
Oh yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah.
I've
I
seen
went to that.
everybody, and you could see up close. The best show I ever went to, Barry Manilow. By a million.
Yeah, I know what you mean because I saw. Well, I think the best show I ever saw was Prince. That was a good show, but I saw a lot of best shows. I saw an awful lot of best shows, and here's one that'll blow your mind. I went to Las Vegas and I saw this concert called Yanni Voices,
Oh.
where Yanni went out and hired found 4 international singers, 2 guys, 2 women, and they wrote words to his
Really?
songs, and they
That's
sang
like writing
them.
words to Enya.
And it was amazing. It was an unbelievable show.
See, all those,
But you weren't supposed to like ABBA, but I love ABBA.
for sure.
I love ABBA now. Back then I didn't, but today.
I remember Rolling Stone poo-pooed them, and then a year later they're like, okay,
Bigger than
we
Rolling
admit
Stone.
they're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm really a big fan of that pan flute guy that comes on late at night of those infomercials. You know, he sells his CDs. He's always at the swap meet. Those guys are...
I don't think that there could be a spa without a pan flute.
Exactly.
If they didn't invent the
I
pan
love
flute,
that you have an opinion on it.
You would never be able to go to a spa. What would you do there?
Exactly.
Hey,
Other than listen to pan flute.
So with it being the holidays and Christmas coming up, and you're Bob Taylor, and you probably have everything you ever imagined. Like, do you still want something for Christmas? Like, what do you wish for during Christmas?
There's not a thing I want. I just want to hang with. I got a brand new granddaughter that's just 2 weeks old, and there's 4 of them in front of her, and hanging out, having a meal. That's really what I want. I'm kind of like.
There's one thing you want.
2 years ago, my daughter said, "Okay, Dad, I know that you said don't buy me any presents. You don't want any presents, and I can dig that, and I totally understand why. But what I'm asking you is, do you really not want any presents? Like, how are you going to feel when we're opening presents and we actually did what you said?" And I go, "I feel fine." She's like, "I'm just checking."
I know the one thing you want. I know from personally the one thing you want is to not be recognized.
Yeah, let me sit in the shadows.
Let you sit in the shadows, and because even today, when you see, when you see people like Paul McCartney playing your guitars, or you see, put the list of names out there, and you go on the website. I mean, people know. Somebody told me one time in business, I don't care, Sully, who knows you or who you know. I care who knows you.
Yeah.
You're one of those guys who everybody knows. Are you able to secure a safe seat in the concert now without having somebody tug on you, or even a NAMM convention or anything like that?
NAMM, I have a hard time breaking away. I can go to a concert, and I'll usually buy my ticket. Tim Godwin, who we're going to meet a little bit later,
Your director of artist
sometimes
relations.
I'll call him. It's like, "Hey, do we have an in?" But we buy tickets even if we do have an in.
Yeah, I do too.
You know.
I like that. I'm a big believer in that.
You're that way. Aren't
I very much so.
I know just from talking to you about.
Well, from me and Tim talking, but Tim, of course, director of artist relations. I believe that's the correct title over at Taylor Guitar, and he handles the bevy of artists that you see that are playing your instruments. And oftentimes, there's young artists that want free stuff, and there's opportunity to get exposure for Taylor to do that. But I was talking to Bob about it, and I was talking to Tim. Said, I have a really good feeling about paying my own way.
Me too.
And not because I'm worried about somebody asking for something, just because it feels better to me. And I'm a supporter of business.
You know who an artist that I super respect, and he's maybe the one that's the truest friend to me, is Zach Brown. And Zach Brown, if you go out with him, he'll pay. Yeah. He's like, "No, I got that. If you're going somewhere, he pays. He pulls his own weight. He's a real guy."
Okay, it's time to play Who's Got the Better Cell Phone Address Book, Little Tommy or Bob Taylor?
No, I got nobody in there.
Oh, you got Zach Brown in there.
I have Zach.
Do you have Paul McCartney in there?
No.
Steven
I
Tyler.
don't do.
Steven Tyler. James Taylor.
No.
Yeah, you got James Taylor's number. Godwin, do you have James Taylor's number?
I have people that make table saws in my phone.
You also have baseball.
You guys don't
baseball
understand.
cards. You know all the employees at Skill.
I'm a woodworker. It just turns into a sexy thing when it's all done. The guitar is like an Excalibur. The guitar.
Yeah.
It gets you into the U.S. Department of State, into a bank, into a concert, into a grammar school. It can get you in anywhere.
Sure.
And you know what
Nobody
else?
doesn't like a guitar. Red states and blue states love guitar. If I was making patio furniture,
Couldn't get in.
I couldn't get in.
And you know what else gets you in? A ladder and a trash can.
Listen up. A clipboard and a leg.
Back in the 70s, when I was a kid, a teenager going to concerts at the San Diego Sports Arena.
A trash can? A ladder?
I would walk backstage with all the bouncers with a trash can, and they would just wave me in.
Oh, he must work here.
Yeah.
He's got a trash can.
I've met Ann and Nancy Wilson with a trash can. I snuck backstage with Rod Stewart.
Do you have a celebrity trash can, like one that's been everywhere that you have signed?
I guess I just looked the part, and they said, "All right, he's the janitor."
I'm uncomfortable around celebrities.
I am too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's intimidating being near you, to be honest with you. I really do. I mean, I think highly of you.
you're the shizzle, my dizzle. That's what he's trying to say.
Well, you know, I did meet Neil Young because I've told you guys the story of him being one of the first people who bought one of our guitars, and there he was playing, and Russ Never Sleeps, and all
you're
that.
a kid at the time, basically.
I was just a kid, but 30 years went by. I don't know, it was 10, 15 years ago that he was playing down at the
Sleep Train, or whatever it was called at the time.
yeah
Right. It's
by
been
the water
17
park,
names.
you know.
Right, by the water park.
And this was before Tim was with us, but I called Bob Borbonis, who worked for us at the time. I said, Bob, it's time for me to meet Neil. I got to say hi to him. And so Neil doesn't want to meet people, and either do I, you know. But the team started working together, and I guess they went in and they talked to Neil, and they said, you know, the guy built your guitars out there. And he's like, you mean the company? And he's like, no, the guy. He's like, the guy? He's like, the real guy that built my guitar? And, yeah,
guy.
Bob Taylor. And he's like, yeah, I want to meet him. And then we both stood there and looked at each other and went,
Hey, cool.
But was he cool?
well,
I mean, was he cool?
Was he
he's a
grouchy?
dork like me.
Yeah. Are you doing that book? Are
he's
you
a
going to
dork
do that
just
book
like
called
me.
Dorks Like Me?
It's funny.
Because you know what? Or Dorks Like Me. It depends on where you put the
Yeah, he was
emphasis,
cool.
right?
He was
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob, I want you to tell the story of the genesis of Taylor Guitars. When did it come to you? And I think I know the first thing out of your thought pattern is, well, I saw a guitar and I wanted to take it apart. I think.
Well, real early on, I bought a little acoustic guitar from a kid across the street. Decided I wanted an electric guitar. I went down to Apex Music. I looked at these pick guards with a pickup on it.
Remember
Anyone
Apex?
remember Apex?
Remember
You know?
Apex?
Yeah. And that thing cost $36. I went to the boys club. I was 12 years old, sawed the neck off my acoustic and tried to make an electric guitar out of it, but I couldn't finish it. I was too young and didn't know what I was doing. And then I started doing metal shop in school and winning state fairs and 10th grade. 11th grade. Yeah, 11th grade.
16.
I wanted,
15,
yeah,
16.
16. I wanted a guitar. Again, I went down to Apex Music when they were downtown. I saw this guitar called an Echo Ranger. It had polyester finish on it this thick, a neck like a Fender that was bolted from the back.
Right.
It was made in Finland. It was a 12-string, right? And I'd been, like I said, John Denver, Gordon Lightfoot.
Right.
I was into this 12-string sound. And this thing played like butter. Skinny neck, low action. $179. I can't buy that. That's too much money. So I thought, I'll quit auto shop. I'll take wood shop and I make a guitar. So I made that, and then it's just like that was a one-way road for me. There was no getting off of it.
No kidding.
And then I found this shop, little hippie shop called the American Dream out in Lemon Grove.
Remember that one?
And that's where I met my partner Kurt of 48 years now. Him and I were both working there, and Sam Radding wanted to sell that shop. His brother Gene owned a retail store up on College
What's
Avenue.
Kurt's last name?
Listug.
Could it been Listug Guitars?
Listug guitar.
Yeah, how close was it? Logo didn't fit?
Was there ever a conversation going, hey, how about Listug? Or was it always Taylor?
Kurt admitted pretty quickly that Taylor was a good name. Now maybe, if we'd been making drums.
Yeah, right?
There you go.
Or basses. Come on. I'm talking about Taylor guitars. All right. Bob Taylor's our guest. Coming up, we're going to talk to Tim Godwin.
Yeah.
The Taylor story continues on the air. Are you going to sing today?
Maybe.
All right. See you in a minute. Is that your yacht rock version? I see Ty's move to the other side of the stage where there's lighting. On the air is on the air. Great to have you along today. One What a busy morning, by the way. I got so fired up about Bob Taylor. I forgot. We've been up since 4:30 this morning.
Yeah, breaking and entering.
It's been a really fun morning, hasn't it, you guys? Unbelievable.
You know what? This Sully Entertainment and the Belly Up raised over $17,000.
Boom.
$17,000.
Yeah.
For one night of music, for 2 hours of music, $17,000, then we gave it to the family.
I'm sure glad this isn't San Diego, because we couldn't get arrested past Oceanside.
And thank you to Bob Taylor, because those 3 Taylor guitars right there on stage, they're going to the family as well.
Yeah,
So
2 of those 3 are going to end up.
all three are going to the family, because there's a boy 15, boy 14, girl 13, and a little girl 4 years old. So those 3 guitars are going to make me
Family
happy.
band.
So thank you very much. You're always giving us guitars for breaking and entering Christmas.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
a pleasure.
Thank
Total
you.
pleasure. Yeah.
Cool. And then we should bring out Tim Godwin.
I'm very excited to meet Tim Godwin in person, because I had a chance to speak to him this week. Do you know what he does?
Yes, I do.
He's the guy, like Bob, that everyone wants to meet whoever has been on stage.
Yeah,
Right?
they do.
He's that guy. He's like the A&R guy of a record label, but he is the director of artist relations. He's the guy that opens up the door.
I have a great guitar question for him. When he sits right there, I have a guitar question
All
for
right.
him. But let's bring him
Is he here?
on.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, originally from Denver, Colorado, he is the director of artist relations at Taylor Guitars. Tim Godwin. Tim Godwin.
Good to see you, man.
Welcome.
It's a good walk-on song.
You like that?
I like
It
that.
is.
Thank
I
you.
told you he was a 70s burnout. Let's
That's
play
right.
some of that.
Yeah, that's
Hey, Tim.
Aren't
well,
we all?
first of all, thank you for being here. Welcome. And we know the Bob Taylor and Kurt story of how it all started. And I've always wanted to ask Bob, but I think I should ask you, because this is like a great Taylor guitar question. The Eagles are coming in March.
Can I get some tickets?
Can I get
Come
tickets?
on. Come on. You know Joe Walsh, right?
Oh my
Come
God.
on. March.
When do you at what point do you turn your phone off as the tickets are coming out to Zach Brown or the Eagles? I mean, because at some point it has to get ridiculous
Well,
in
it
your
is.
career.
It is funny, especially with Taylor Swift coming out, right? Because she started playing her
man.
guitars years
Yeah.
ago, and all
Right.
of a sudden I'm getting the emails like, I mean, I can't call Taylor Swift for tickets. You know, it's like I can't. I'm sorry, I can't help you. You know.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Nobody can
funny.
get tickets.
No, that's true. Nobody could get tickets. Yeah.
But
But I got to tell you, first time Taylor played at our NAMM show booth, I had to go out in the hallway and grab people to come and sit down and listen to her
That's
Yeah, because
right.
it wasn't just this kid
Right.
playing your guitar, right?
play a guitar.
Oh.
It's like, come on in, listen to this girl.
Tim, what is
That's a cute story.
For-
But Tim's a pro.
guitar player?
Well, he's a pro player too, but he's a pro at this job. He takes care of people.
Well, for the people that aren't in the
He's
industry,
a talented guitar player.
what do you do? Tell people, like, you know, because there's people that aren't in the music business. I know exactly what you do.
Right.
He's all, hey, he goes, I'm over here. I go, I know exactly. I stalked you a long time ago. I know exactly what you look like. So if you were to explain somebody, you're in between flights in the airport,
Right.
you're at the airport bar. Hey, what do you do for a living? How do you explain what you do for a living?
Well, I get in a nutshell, it's how do we share with the world who plays our guitars and get people excited about playing Taylor guitars.
Yeah.
And that's usually through artists, players, because we all grow up going like, I want to play like that. I want to
Right.
play guitar because of Gordon Lightfoot or John Denver or Jimi Hendrix,
Right.
So that's the overarching part of the job is like, how do we corral that and then foster up and coming and new artists?
And the idea is, you know, just like a record label, just like
Yeah,
a
it
venture
is.
capital group who's
Right.
getting stacks of business plans,
Right.
right? How do you weed through it? How does somebody stand out? You got to know somebody, or is it a
mean,
social media presence? Is it?
It's all
the above?
It's everything. It's from going online and finding people. It's working, you know, managers you work with saying, "Hey, I've got this new artist." It's Bob Taylor hitting me. I'm going, "Hey, I've checked out. I found this new artist." It's the guy in the factory floor going like, "Hey, you should check this." You know, you've got to be open to everything.
No kidding.
Can you tell us the Paul McCartney story? Like, how did Paul McCartney end up with a Taylor guitar?
Well, that was through Richie Sambora. Had one
Oh.
made for him as a present.
Oh, him.
So like what? So what happens?
Well, that was before my time. But generally, what happened is you had made a double neck, didn't you? You made like a which you.
We made guitars for Richie Sambora. We did
Right.
an artist model, and we did 2 double neck guitars for him, and his model that we made that was like a special, like a signature model, I guess was
Yep.
the word I'm trying to say. We made that. It was a limited edition of them.
Right.
He had a left-handed one made of that, and he gave it to Paul.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about that until I saw Paul playing the guitar on
Right.
Rihanna videos and Paul McCartney videos.
How often does that happen to you? Where suddenly, well, there's another person with one of my guitars. Does that happen often where you're seeing an artist of some fame or some note all of a sudden with a Taylor guitar that they paid with their own money? They didn't ask artist relations for it?
All the time, and that's the fun part too, and you discover new artists like, oh my God, and then you go like, hey, how can maybe we can work with them or have a relationship with and see
But
how.
I got to say, we do business with people, and I think, tell me if you agree, what Tim does is he helps artists work.
Yeah.
He supports their work.
Yeah.
We're like here to help you be on the road. We're here to help you be in the studio.
Yeah.
Let's do some business together.
Sure.
It's very professional. So imagine someone's on the road and they got to go do the Today Show or Good Morning America or something. They give him a call, and he's like, I'll have guitars in the studio for you tomorrow morning when you arrive. He's got guitars stashed all over the world.
Yeah, it's a service. We're
Yeah.
it's a different form of customer service.
But wait a minute. What does that mean? You have guitars stashed all over the world. What does that mean? Like exactly? Like
Well,
do you
there's a
Well,
guy
there's
in
one
New
down
York
under
under his
here.
bed.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know a guy.
There's a Kanban of guitars
I
somewhere.
just call, hey Joe.
I got a guy. I need the guy.
I need a guy with that guitar.
I've interviewed.
Backline companies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That type of
Yeah,
thing.
SIR, which is here in San Diego. They're all over different places like that, various stores, things like.
I've interviewed corporations that you would think would have nothing to do with certain sponsorships. But one corporation that comes in mind was a micro turbine company that was a green energy company that was advertising on NASCARs. I beg your pardon, open wheel Indy cars. Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, how does a green technology company put their logo on an Indy car, the biggest gas guzzler sport in the world, and get something out of it? And they said it's not about how many generators we sell because this car is going around, they got a huge audience. It's about recall and recognition of the brand. And is that sort of the same thing with artist sponsorship and such like that? Is it just the more touch points that we can have as consumers seeing Taylor, watching our favorites play Taylor? It's not about selling another guitar, it's about brand recognition, which at the end of the day does sell guitars.
Right. I mean, you want when that kid first wants to go in and buy a guitar, the mom or dad goes in and goes like, "Oh, wait, I've seen that guitar. I know that. That's a familiar brand. That's a familiar looking. I feel safe."
Growing up in the '70s, we all said, "Oh, I want a Les Paul."
Yeah.
We don't know that. We just know to say that.
Right. Exactly. And so that's the job. Is like, how do we make that in the front of people's minds?
Mm-hmm. And with respect to the international footprint you have. See, I will always hold you as a San Diego company, right here at
Grove.
home, right? I mean, seriously.
El Cajon.
And I always think with that, and I always have to remember there's guys in Zimbabwe that are playing a Taylor guitar that have no idea where you guys are based
Right.
from. Are you guys ever approached on? You're from that little town called San Diego, which, by the way, is the 8th largest city in the United States. It's a huge ADM market. We're not a little town at all. But does that ever come up where you guys are come to this sleepy little town like San Diego?
I guess so, because a lot of people, they have no idea. Sometimes they think we're in the Northwest.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. I thought, you guys are in San
We are. We're in
El-
Carlsbad. It is the Northwest.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
talking about?
Hey,
The
after
great
the break,
Northwest.
after the break, we're going to put him on the spot and ask Tim Godwin to play a couple of
Get
seconds
loose.
of guitar.
Get loose.
Couple licks, couple drop D. I'm going to stick with the drop D.
Guitar picks for you. Got the whole thing. All right.
the
On the
break.
air is on the air. We got Tim Godwin. We got Bob Taylor. Yeah. We're just like that. See you in a minute. do you got? What do you throw it out? And of course, lead jingler bringing it all together. On the air, great to have you along today. Poor Tim Godwin.
Damn, man.
Thank you guys.
I was on the phone with Tim Godwin a couple days ago. I got introduced by Bob Taylor in the artist management or artist relations
Yeah.
department. I said, "Hey Tim, just come on in. We'll throw you in the audience. It'll be super easy. Won't even see you be on camera." Next thing you know, he's in front of the stage. I Huck Finned you right up. I Tom Sawyered you right on top of the stage. So
Yeah.
good to see you.
Yeah.
So Tim, definitely, you're still mic'd up, I think. You got some chops there. Did you ever get to play in front of some of your idols? Come on. Other than, Bob.
You guys?
Yes.
But seriously, I was going to ask you that. Are you ever, discussing business with a guitar player? You guys have the guitars out. You ever jam with anyone and just jam with them?
Yeah, there's times where it's because when it's all said and done, we're all guitar players, right? So you just it's relating as musicians, and you think about like an artist's career. It all started with a guitar.
Has anyone ever tried to get your attention as an artist? Like I remember, or vice versa. I remember the Olsen story with James Taylor. Mm-hmm. How we left guitars in a hotel room at one point and bamboozled the security to just leave a guitar sitting in one of his hotel rooms. And this is many, many years ago. And suddenly that was a relationship and a conversation, a consequence that happens. Have you ever tried to get your name out there like that? Or has anybody tried to get in front of you guys like that? Or any stories like that with folks that'll not just call you up and ask you for tickets, but also try to get in your artist relations program?
Oh yeah, there's this guy Sully.
I did not.
You did.
Do you know how long I've known about you? I'm thinking, God, I should probably call him. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
I had to meet this guy to get to you.
No, I love
We
it.
have a pretty open door.
Yeah, it is. Well, we want to hear from people because you never know, and we want to work from those that are playing the coffee house up to the stadium. So it's
And Tim's got people helping him too, because you have Lindsay.
Yep, Lindsay.
And she works in this town with us. She worked for us for a long time building guitars.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Right, and young.
Yeah.
And
she's a great player.
She's a super good player.
Let's talk about your business for a second. You just mentioned something. She used to build guitars for you. Is that the type of environment Taylor is? So if you're the guy, because I always told my kids that the opportunity exists, just get in the door. Empty trashes somewhere. One of my daughters wanted to be an artist. The other one wanted to be a doctor. Empty trashes at that place. Just get in. And suddenly these opportunities, I can tell you, Tommy and I have talked about this on this show about radio several times, how the guy that's there gets the gig. Sort of the same thing when you guys are promoting from within. You see a guy that suddenly put the broom down. He's all of a sudden sanding something. Hey, he's got some talent. Let's give him a shot there. Is that kind of how it works?
You see that all the time.
And do any of those...
Lindsay was an interesting story because she worked building guitars. She had a band. She left, went on tour with her band, got married along the way, went back to college and got a degree in African American Studies. Came out of there and started working for some churches, doing music at churches, worked her way all the way back to San Diego, and she came and worked in our repair department, and then we needed to advance our reach, right? And so she came on to Artist Relations and has really helped a lot.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, this is cool about Taylor Guitars today. As we sit here, Bob Taylor is an employee and Tim's an owner.
Yeah.
Right? In
That's
theory,
right.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why he won't sit closer than 6 feet from me.
Yeah, that's right. He's trying to
He
keep that
doesn't
arm's
rub- he
length.
doesn't rub with
Can you explain what happened and why you did that? Because
Well, 2 years ago, we created a condition in our business called an ESOP, is Employee Stock Ownership Plan. It's a trust that basically is a retirement benefit for all the employees. They do it through ownership of the company. So it's a really good program. We did that a couple of years ago, and the employees own it now. And Kurt and I don't anymore, or Andy.
I mean, because there's a couple paths of liquidity in business. You can get acquired by a bigger company. You could take it public,
Yeah.
right? You can go to private equity, all of which you could have cashed in big numbers on an acquisition basis or an IPO or private equity. And what you chose to do was to say, I have enough, and I'm going to give back to the people that got me here. Because it really is. I know you don't think of it that way because you're a humble guy, but that's, as an employee, I think you can agree with me. And I see this from the top down all the time. It was a really noble thing that you did as a business person, and not enough companies do that. SEIC is another example of a San Diego company that did the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's tremendously beneficial to both ownership, I believe, and of course the employees. Hey guys, forget it. Don't get any ideas. It's not happening.
That's right.
You know,
But you guys are great.
It's a great option for people to reach the end of their career and they built a business, and that business is going to get sold one way or the other. An attorney told me when I was young, I said, I'm never going to sell my business. He said, well, you're going to sell it, Bob, on the day you die or some day before that, right? It's going to get sold. It's going to be a sale.
That's exactly
so
right.
this is a great way to do it.
And that's how they work.
This is the
Bob
best.
Taylor's with us. Tim Godwin's with us. Fantastic. I didn't mean to bamboozle you. I just saw that you played guitar.
Guys who can play don't mind doing it.
No, but now,
I'd love to play.
but you know, if Brian Jordan ever gets a cold, you're getting a phone call.
That's right. This
All
band
right.
is
On the air,
slamming.
it's on the air. Oh, he's the real deal, too.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Jordan, Dave Matthews Band, James Brown, Lauren Hill. And now we've got Tim Goodman. All right. Come on, Ty, take it. There it is. Please, England. Audience love it. Don't you tell me that Rusty Nails doesn't have his footprints everywhere on this set. Of course, Tyler Stolnack is Russ's son. I don't know, Taylor boys. I'm thinking that maybe there's a jingler factory in your future.
I don't know, man.
That little outhouse next by, like.
Boy, he's got some style.
Could be artist relations Tyler is a very good guitar player, by the way. We just don't let him play it anymore because he's on the jingler now, aren't you?
What?
Great to have you on. Hey, we have other guests.
yeah, we do.
What do you got?
You know what? Before we bring them out, we kind of have a surprise for them.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to do this. All right, guys, hit it.
Well, we're big rock singers, we got golden fingers, and we're loved everywhere we go. We sing about beauty and we sing about truth for $20,000 a show, right? We take all kinds of pills to get us all kinds of thrills, but the thrills that we never know is the thrill that'll get you when you get your picture on the cover of the Ranch & Co's. Ranch & Co's. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Donaho from Ranch & Co's magazine.
We got lyrics for you. We got lyrics for you.
God, that
Come on.
is
Thank
the
you.
most awesome
Thank you.
introduction that a magazine writer could ever hope to get.
Can we take?
We're just like behind the scenes guys, observation guys, and that's just, I'm blown away. That's amazing.
Well, thank you,
We're going to
Ron.
record that for you.
But
I'll
first
buy
of
that.
all,
Isn't something missing
That's a
here?
ringtone right there, man.
I think something's missing in this article, don't you, Mary?
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you to Ron because you interviewed me and you put an article together about breaking and entering Christmas.
Right.
And I'm so proud of this and my family's proud. And it's called Little Tommy's Coming to Town. And it talks about the history of breaking and entering Christmas, why it means so much to me. It's on page 46 and 47. The reason why
Enough
you're here,
already.
But the reason why you're here.
Well, they call that the centerfold.
The reason why you're here.
Wow.
The reason why you're here, what does it take to get on the cover of the Ranch &
Yeah. What does it take?
It takes persistence, which I know you guys have. You know, it's funny because I'm actually a freelance writer, and I write for Ranch & Coast and some other publications. And I have my own publication. It's called thesanDiegoSun.com.
Wow.
But you were a cover boy
Yeah.
on a story that I wrote for San Diego Magazine
I remember.
many years ago.
With Jeff and Jer, and
Jeff and
I remember
Jer.
we went to all the little bars and clubs downtown, and
I
that was
think
cool.
I was thinking about it, and I was trying to remember why we did that story. I'm pretty sure it was one of the best of issues.
I think so.
And so we had picked some of the best bars in town, and
Yeah.
we took the whole Jeff and Jared crew,
Yeah.
all 5 of you guys,
How long ago was this?
many years ago.
Oh, it needs to happen again. I have an idea.
Well, but they did it right because they were in a limo, as I recall. We were following behind in the trail car. We stopped at Nunu's, the great dive
I was
bar.
partying back then. I barely remember.
Well, I remember we went to Nunu's. We went to Sayal's, the restaurant.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
And the third place can't even remember where.
Foggy's Notion. Had to be Foggy's Notion
It
across
was-
from the arena.
It was in Carlsbad, the karaoke place. Coyote, I think.
Oh,
a great
Coyote.
memory.
It's not really a Coyote. It wasn't really a karaoke place. People just made it that. They started singing along with the music that was overhead, and then they finally got mics. That's how that whole story went. Coyote.
Thank you, because growing up in San Diego, I remember seeing your name everywhere. How did it all start for you as a writer?
I'm from the East Coast. When I moved out to San Diego, San Diego Magazine was my first job. I was there for 12 years. I think I've written or edited for just about everybody in town. I was at San Diego Home Garden Lifestyles for a couple of years. I was at San Diego City Beat for a couple of years. So left or right, I'm pretty much a moderate individual, but I've covered both sides of all the issues. It's interesting to note that Home and Garden doesn't exist anymore, and City Beat doesn't exist anymore.
I'm so surprised because they were so. Home and Garden was iconic in this town for many years, and City Beat. I remember, you couldn't survive in PB as a college kid without City Beat magazine rolling around.
Well, I'm afraid that maybe I'm the kiss of death.
Oh yeah.
Be careful, Rancho Coast.
No, you're not.
No, this is thicker than it's been in a while.
Hey, do people pitch ideas to you all the time? Because I have an idea.
People do pitch ideas.
Because there's
Never
a-
on
this should be
live
good.
TV,
Well,
but
This
I'll
should
tell
be
you
good.
something. Back in the 70s, there's a guy named Bob and his friend Kurt. They started a guitar company in Lemon Grove, and all of a sudden, boom, in a blink of an eye, it just blew up, and it's like huge. One of the best. I think you should write an article about that guitar company.
I am a big fan of this company. I've known about you guys I'm sure that I've written about you guys in the past. You've been involved with Steph Johnson and Voices.
Yeah. In fact, tomorrow's their concert.
Yep.
the concert tomorrow night, and I'm going to it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, for people that don't know, Steph Johnson has a choir of homeless people.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have donated. That's one of many groups that you've donated
You know what?
to.
This is weird. When Bob walked in today, he goes, "Hey, Tommy, you know Steph Johnson?" He really did.
No kidding.
Oh, that's funny.
She's great.
She's a wonderful player.
I am
Amazing.
I'm helping Steph write her biography right now.
Oh,
So
really?
we're hoping to maybe put that out next year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I love
She's got a
Steph
great
Johnson.
story.
She's
awesome.
She's such a great person.
Yeah.
And an
I'm going to talk real quickly.
incredible player. And this choir is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I think we need to have that choir in studio at
Yes.
some point because it's one of those tearjerker choirs where
It really
the
is.
first note, it's not just how they sound, it's that when you realize what they're doing, it's pretty crazy. When we come back, I want to talk about how important print is because I can tell you for us, and I was kidding when I said, we can't get arrested out of San Diego as a band, but then we got international coverage because of print. It wasn't because of social media. It wasn't because of plays. It wasn't because of charting on Billboard. It was because of the print that got us so much recognition on this last album. And for anybody that tells you that print media is dead, it's not dead. And I'm talking about not just online, but the actual stuff because those magazines out there are there. So God bless you for being in that industry. I want to talk to you about that coming up. On the air is on the air.
Ron Donaho.
Ron Donaho is with us from Rancho Coast. Daniel Mackey, City Beat writer. With the April Band today, featuring April Leslie and Lee Jingler, a.k.a. Sonak. Great to have you on. Thank you so much for our live studio audience once again for coming in. Good to see you. Of course, Ron Donaho, Tim Godwin, the Tanner Boys. And who is this?
You know what? Speaking of our live audience, we just brought someone up. This is Ava, who enjoys the show. She's with her mom, Dina. So we just thought it would be cool to have her
Nice to see you.
at the bar.
You ever been on TV before?
Once.
Yeah, not twice. This is a big deal, huh? You know, do you play guitar?
No, my brother does.
Are you a writer?
No.
God, there's some job opportunities here. You just got to say yes. Yes, right? I have to ask, so getting back on the question real quick, because there was a time when all this digital stuff came out, and we thought that the written word was dead, or people were trying to pitch that, and I always knew it's not, because I suspect that you're the type of guy that still likes to open up a magazine.
I like a magazine.
I'm a magazine guy.
I get newspapers.
I'm a newspaper guy too. In fact, I rarely will read something on a tablet or something, and I think there's a resurgence of the written word, don't you think? Coming back after so many years of this telling us that it's dead.
I hope so. I mean, attention spans are down, and that's one thing. So many people just want to read short blurbs on social media. But I mentioned earlier, I came out with my own website. It's called thesanDiegoSun.com, and it focuses on downtown. I'm talking with a guy who has a community newspaper group to sort of partnership with my content and him do a downtown newspaper. So, and I talk to publishers of other independent local newspapers. They say they're still flourishing. They say people still want to grab the coupons out of those locals and take them to the stores. And the stores are like, oh, I got the coupon. I know people are looking at that community newspaper. So, yeah, in some places, they're
Do you remember when the Reader was 3 pieces as opposed to 1 tabloid, and you used to go right to the entertainment section? But who doesn't like flipping through that stuff? Still, I think that's one of the reasons. All right, before we're out of here today, what's next for you two guys? This company is remarkable.
Oh.
You guys continue to make a big footprint. What do we got now?
There's something big going on today, December 10th.
Yeah, December 10th is our friends and family sale. It's at the warehouse of Taylor Guitars.
Today?
Yes.
Yep.
People can come out.
On Saturday, people can come out, and we've got deals, we've got guitars, we've got everything.
Are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. You need a Sharpie? Because you're going to need a Sharpie, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go through a couple of them because they get kind of moppy after a while.
Yeah, I know. I'm only good for I'm only good for 4 or 5. All right, that is today. And where's the warehouse at exactly?
It's at 1925 Gillespie Way, El Cajon, California.
Yes, El
that's in
Cajon.
the southwest corner of the United States.
Beautiful.
That's right. Tim Godwin, guitar player.
And director of arts relations. Signed any new people lately?
I have.
That's right.
Yes,
We're part of the
Sully,
Taylor
that's
family.
right.
Very happy. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Taylor Guitars wants to be on that Sully Band train.
Oh, you know that train? You know, did you hear that we're on? So, Little Tommy's face, a big giant mug on top of a train. And we were there for Breaking In Christmas. Apparently, they used that train as the Santa train this year. So we got people sending us pictures all over with bringing their kids on. With and the mouth is right where the door is for you. So it opens up, and the little kids walk in, and Tommy eats them.
Wow, thank you. Well, awesome. But thank you to Ron Donaho, Ranching Coast Magazine, the December issue. I think I'm on page 46.
No. And what is the name of the website, sir? Your website.
thesanDiegoSun.com.
thesanDiegoSun.com. Let's spend some time talking about that in another episode too, because downtown is a whole different story here for anyone who's grown up here for a while.
It really is. I mean, I talk about things to do and places to go, but the homeless issue is big, and we get into all of it.
Thanks for coming on, you guys.
And thank you to Ava and the live audience.
Sully,
Yeah, you bet.
Ava,
Good to meet you.
Good play.
Oh, thanks.
Dude, thanks for coming on. Man.
Thank you. Thank you.